Fresh Faff. But it's kind of like a tongue twister.
Yeah.
I'd say fresh.
So I guess, hi, this is Srinidhi.
Hi, this is Vedhu.
And then we have our friends who name themselves.
I'm Sim.
I'm Kavya.
So what we're trying to do here is record a podcast. We are trying to get this conversation going because every time we hang out, all we say is, there should be a podcast. We should say this on a podcast.
We should have a podcast.
And this is us just trying to like do what we're saying. And then it might just turn out to be absolute trash, and that's fine. Because...
But at least y'all are not going to be all fart and no shit.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Or all talk and no talk. Which is what the reality of things are at the
Oh,
moment.
I thought you were gonna be like, which is what the topic of today's episode.
Yeah, all talk, no cock. Maybe we can name it that.
There
we can
you
name it
go.
that. It is actually because we're
I thought
discussing
you were-
romantic relationships and like men and women and just everything that we come with, I guess. And obviously we are here to offer the female perspective. But we seem to really know. But I have read a lot of Reddit chats on male perspectives and come for this. So like, what are men saying? And I have a few thoughts about new relations. Also want to say thank you to Vedhu specifically because I feel like I have met friends and I have like 2 minutes of good banter with them and I was like, we should do a podcast. And nobody ever has taken me seriously. Nobody has ever taken me.
I've been thinking about the podcast that we were talking about. We should totally do
Yes,
it.
you're it. You're the one. We have to do this. So yeah, I think we're here doing it. So that's the start.
awesome. Okay.
Yeah. Do you want to start with asking me anything?
What's your romantic relationship status right now?
Oh, very much single.
Oh, yeah. Single girl.
All the single girlies
Yeah.
except me.
I wonder why she's not single.
Because Srinidhi set me up.
Yeah.
We all need a friend like Srinidhi.
Yeah.
I mean, to be very honest, it was not like a calculated thing. It was just like, oh my god, I
There's
think
just-
I know someone you might really get along with. And then also Vedhu's trail of men was just bad.
Yeah.
Like
I
bad,
feel like it
bad.
was mostly out of pity for me.
Yeah, because not pity. It was not pity. It was just
Just frustration, second-hand frustration.
no. What is that? Yeah, maybe frustration because you're like, oh my god, she's so funny and she said all this, and then she'll be talking to the dumbest. That man would have a personality of a peanut. Like a peanut is more versatile than that man. And then I'll be like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And then she'll be like, no, I'm just trying to put myself out there, but for who? And for what? And then I was like, for starters, let's just meet someone who's nice.
Yeah. I remember it so clearly because like Srinidhi called me and she was like, I just want you to go out with like one decent person, like on one date. Just go on one decent date and enjoy it. Nothing has to come out of it. Just go with one nice guy so you at least know what a nice guy looks like.
Or feels like. And
Yeah.
you don't come. And it looks like it worked out.
Yeah.
The first nice guy I found.
But that's a good thing. I feel like that's how relationships should pan out.
Should be.
Yeah, but then there's too much demand on Srinidhi now.
Yeah, actually.
Oh, Srinidhi set you up. Oh, I need to ask her now. Like, the new
So funny part is
Seema.
I'm telling my friends who are completely out of this context that I set Vedhu up and they're like, you never set me up.
Which
I was
is
like,
true.
brother.
I didn't start
Which
a
is
service.
true.
Yeah, brother, the problem is it's not like I started this. If I could set people up, I would set myself up also. Like, you're not understanding that I have now been single for a good 5 years. So I'm
my
just like,
God.
wow, at this point... but having fun, of course.
Yeah.
That silence got on me. I just feel it is not
I
there.
didn't know. I didn't realize it's been 5 years.
Yeah.
Honestly, it just feels like maybe 1 or 2.
No?
But that's because
Yeah.
That's because they're always relevant stories.
and you're
So-
always like building connections as well with these people that like
So I actually don't know how to do casual relationships.
Yeah.
I just, even my short-term ones are extremely like, oh my god.
meaningful.
We're sharing
and
this
intimate.
space and very intimate, lots of love.
Yeah.
Lots of
Affection.
There's cuddling, there's this, that. But apparently you're not supposed to cuddle. Like, I'm very serious about this. Like, a male
What?
friend yesterday
There are rules?
asked me. Yeah.
For casual
Yeah.
relationships.
Yeah. He's like, I've held back almost every single time.
From cuddling.
From cuddling because apparently that just...
So what do you do? Just like just like lay separately and stare at the ceiling.
No, so I've been with someone who's very against cuddling, but I'm pretty sure he was not cuddling his girlfriend either. Like,
Oh yeah, that's
so that was like, yeah, that's a non-affectionate person.
Yeah. That's just like a cold person.
Yeah, I think people like to cuddle. Like,
Yeah.
Most people, I feel like 90%.
I would
And
say
you would
80.
think, and you would think
20% is
that
me.
it would
You don't
have.
like to cuddle?
I hate people in my space.
I mean, but
Like I see your friend's perspective from like science perspective, because that's when you release your oxytocin.
And then you feel like
Yeah.
there's bonding
Yeah.
happening.
Exactly.
So if you don't want to actually be attached to that person, that
oh my god, but I saw this thing on Instagram. Obviously, my source of all
Yeah, at least now we're not saying, so I read this somewhere, but it was a reel. You did not.
Yeah, no, this was actually a reel that I
I
watched.
hope I'm recording it on my phone.
Yeah.
Where they said that basically a woman will get attached like immediately. But the guy takes like a while to get attached, but like over time the woman like slowly, like your eyes open and then you realize and then you sort of detach with time. But the man, if he is attracted to someone, then they would get like increasingly more, like they'll fall in love
I
more
saw-
and more and more with this person.
I saw this. Was it that reel which says like the woman starts at 100 and then keep knocking off points, whereas men
I
start at
explained it very
0 and
badly.
start.
They're adding up points.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
don't
And
I
it
don't know
kind of
if
made
I-
sense to me, but like,
Yeah, that's what I don't think that makes sense to me at all, because I think I'm the opposite.
Okay.
I am zero emotions in the beginning in most cases. I think in the handful of relationships I've had, it's always been like, why am I doing this? Why am I here? What's happening? Like, I miss
Yeah.
my single life, or I miss, like, do things have to be different? And then, like, time passes and I'm like, oh wow, this is kind of sweet. I'm enjoying this. And then you'll have, like, they kind of take up more space, and then I'm okay with it. With men, I'm not really sure. I think they're all over the place. They're trying to figure it out. But who are we to say? It's subjective, I guess.
what do you guys feel? So it's like,
Don't really have much to say.
No, like
Just
I'm
go for
definitely
it.
the one who starts at 100 and then knocks off
Yeah.
points.
Yeah.
Because it's that annoying thing where like you want to assume the best in people and like
Oh,
okay,
yeah,
I give you that
100%.
chance.
Oh, but I
Yeah.
do this really nice thing where I fall in love with potential.
that's what
That's
I'm
my
saying. But
favorite.
like,
Oh, that's- it's
I
a
feel
very
like when you
thin
just
line.
meet someone,
Yeah.
like the excitement is so high, and especially if there's like tension and all, you're like, oh my god, like you're imagining all of these like
I
future
think
with
it's
them
more stressful.
and all of that. It is. I mean, yeah, obviously, but when we were younger, like you're excited by all of this, right? You're like, oh my god, it's gonna be this, and then we're gonna have kids, and then we're gonna build a life, and like you're already
Yeah,
thinking
yeah.
all of that.
But I am
like,
that
months,
person.
Like months into it, you're like sort of taking a step back, and you're like, okay, let's reevaluate. This is really not seeming like the person to do that with, and you realize, which is what happens to me all the time, and like it goes from like 100, and then I'm reducing. But I've noticed with the boys, like initially, they're kind of like a little like 1 foot out the door type of
Yeah.
people, but then they get so invested. By the time I'm like, I want to exit
it?
this, they're like, but I'm so in love with you.
Yeah.
And it's like always the opposite directions that we're going in.
I think I was also saying that emotionally, but like mentally, it's a different ballgame. Like I'm Uday Chopra from Dhoom. Like I'm on that bike with my
then
kids.
you're, like,
And
picturing.
I have pictured us. Like I remember I once had gone out on a date, and I think the dude just said something about not really thinking about adoption, and I was just like, yeah, I'm
Like-
never going to see him again.
Is that important to you, adoption? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it is kind of important. I mean, I don't know if it'll happen because it's so tough and everything, but it's kind of important. But if somebody's like, oh, one person also said this to me. They were like, oh, if I'm going to love a child, it better be mine.
Which
Yeah.
I understand actually.
I mean, but it's not something you say loudly.
Yeah,
You can't
yeah.
say
I
that.
wouldn't-
Like,
I wouldn't-
in your brain.
yeah,
I'm with you.
I
Just
wouldn't
think
say
and
that to
just
like a person I
retract.
just met, but I'm not saying that I can't love, because I don't know if I love my own child, if I love I don't
We
know
don't
what's
even know
gonna
the
happen.
possibilities.
Yeah, like there could be a whole like range of emotions, but I'm saying that like there, like chemically you bond, right, with your own child, and then like if you have to manufacture that, it becomes very hard. And also like the history and the trauma that
They
child
go
carries, it's hard to understand. Like, to understand ourselves only, it's so hard. So then, like, when you bring another person and then you're responsible
But
for
then-
their entire life.
But that also, there are different levels to it. Like, would you adopt an older child, a younger one?
Yeah,
You
but, like,
also,
it's also-
they make sure that
yeah.
you're equipped and educated to adopt an older child, if at all. Or if
I
it's like
know,
2 and
but
3.
Also, like, you know how they, like, trauma stores in your body?
Yeah.
And like from generations,
And it
it's
does
like
pass
what
on
exactly.
to
So I'm
your-
like, what are they
to your
carrying? Like, what are
offspring.
they
You know, but
carrying?
it's very funny because I think I've had my fair share of life experiences, and I feel like my friends heal me in more ways than one. And I don't think they are
Preach.
considering how
Yeah.
what I come with and how I'm coming and all of that. And if you can do that in a
Friends are
plain
very different.
No, I
dynamics than
agree,
a
I agree.
parent.
But I'm saying I've had friendships where things have gotten down and dirty, and where you've had to deal with it.
Yeah.
Like you know how you say you can't choose family. I think I've had some friendships where we just
They're
had
just
to deal with.
family.
Yeah, we just had to deal with it, and I feel a lot of belonging and everything that I've gotten other than from. Because my family's always been so far away wherever I've stayed.
Yeah.
So I've really found home in like all the small places that I've been in. And I feel like that's it's very subjective,
Yeah,
like you
yeah.
said.
Like,
For
I
some
don't
people I
think
know,
there's-
they're like, oh, if it's not my own child, I won't be able to do it only. But I feel like it's a good checklist in general to
Yeah.
have with what are your.
What's your end goal?
But it's looking highly likely anyway that I'll adopt.
Yeah, that's what
If
I'm saying.
having
That's
kids.
what.
Because I'm concerned about freezing just because of all of the information you hear, and just I don't know anyone who's done it successfully in my circle.
Right.
And like the chances are low, and then it's painful and like all kinds of things. But also I'm clearly not having them right now. So
Yeah.
by the time I'm
Do you have
like
something to
ready,
tell us?
If you
by
also
the time I'm
consider.
ready, I'm like that's gonna be my option. And if my heart and my soul really wants it, then that's gonna be what I'm gonna do, obviously.
No, 100%. But I'm also saying that if, like, the world's going to shit, so. I don't know if it's a great. I feel it's also personally. I feel it's
even
very
bring-
personal and
yeah.
selfish to want to bring life into this.
Yeah.
While you look around, like look at.
But
will they
everything
have
you know,
this?
everything
Will
you
they
know is
have?
selfish.
Yeah, but I'm just saying how. Like, if you can become aware and conscious of it, I think those decisions are fine.
Yeah.
And adoption also doesn't come from me from like more nurturing and stuff. I think it came because you're like.
You rather
There are people who
Need.
like to put it very like textbook wise. There are people who need that nurturing and resources.
For sure.
And you don't need to just put another person that doesn't exist
Just
right
like-
now
yeah.
onto the planet to be like, hey, how about one more person to feed while millions are hungry? And I get it that the world doesn't work like that and the society doesn't work like that and grandparents need grandkids and but I don't get the drift. But what we came to this from was that I think I might personally I might not be the most virtuous person, but I do have a decent moral high ground where I feel like if the other person is not operating from that, I don't know if a second it really makes sense. And this whole they might change their mind, you might change their mind, I don't get that.
Values have to match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's super important when you get into a relationship. If your values doesn't even match, then what's the point?
Yeah.
You're just
Agreed.
wasting your time at the end of the day. So, please
Yeah.
go your own way.
But you need to know yourself also, and
Yeah,
be
you
like these
got
things
to.
are important. So then
For
you can like
sure.
immediately cancel. Otherwise, you'll be like, I don't know what I want, and then you're like,
But it's very
it's
funny.
cute, yeah.
But it's very funny actually, because I think when we want to be like ignorant and dumb, we do that because
We choose to.
I think I've been in this dating sort of a on and off 1 year, 2 year thing where you're like going on dates, not going on dates, and then obviously when it finally did end, I came to a realization that every single meal we have had,
Okay.
shit. Not one good meal has been shared. Like every restaurant we went to, either the food was bad or somewhere we went there were rats. If that's not
Is
the
this
sight
what
of the universe.
Bombay? How much she praises about Bombay?
No, I'm talking about any place. Like we've eaten in Goa also on these dates that I went with this one person on and off across the
my
time.
bad, my
And
bad.
when that
Yeah,
finally
yeah.
did end, you're like, oh, we couldn't even have had one decent.
But that's not in your control, no.
Of course
So
not,
are
but I
you
would like to
saying
say
it's-
that's like the
this is
universe
what-
telling
yeah,
you,
that's
get the fuck
right.
out of here.
But obviously,
yeah.
like when you're in that bubble of like starry eyes and like, oh, I'm feeling the feels, you're not paying attention so much to like all of the other things. I feel like even I if I'm like in that zone, then I'm like I can't even focus on like what I'm eating and all. I'm like, yeah, it's nice.
True. I've lost my appetite, bro.
Yeah, I can never eat on a date.
Yeah, because you have like butterflies and then you're just feeling like
I think
really
it's
like,
more like you're just so nervous.
yeah, all of it.
For me, I'm always sizing up the person based on how they react to the food that we're eating.
Oh, really?
So
So
how
that
does
is
that
like
work?
special attention.
How does that
Very
work?
important.
How do you size up basis what they
Like
eating?
if they're very interested in food or not. Like
So
there
they
are
have to
some
be a
people.
foodie?
Yeah, there are some people who like eat to live, and then there are some people who live to
To eat.
Yeah.
So if they're the former, then it's like whatever. You're not that great.
I don't know. I think after the first date, I could just like sense it if it's working for me or not. I just have that gut feeling. I'm like, I'm out.
I
Yeah,
always feel like it has to
Yeah.
be 2 minimum.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
You can't.
agree.
I don't
Because
think you can
first
say
there's
in the
too
first.
many different factors
I
that
don't
are
know, you
uncertain
get to,
and you
like-
can't tell.
I don't know.
The
Respect-
thing
You
is,
need 2 minimum.
Yeah,
Sim, you need
yeah,
2 minimum.
yeah.
Okay. I feel like one is more than enough for me.
No.
I feel like I've been single all my life. I think this is too difficult. Like
Yeah.
dating, like putting
It's-
yourself out there. I think it's more exhausting, and I feel like I'm happy. Like I've been after I've come back. I think from October, I feel so good. Like by myself,
Yeah.
and I've always been by
Yeah,
myself.
yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm just saying, if I'm not looking for a companion, there are times like, oh, I want one.
Yeah.
But now I'm just like, is this what I really want? Maybe when the time is right.
Is this what I really want?
Yeah.
but I feel that like sometimes I'll be like 7 dates into something and I'll be like, oh, is this what I really want? So I'm just saying,
Yeah.
lust kind of overlaps a lot. Because if
Yeah.
you're having
There's
this
tension.
intense, yeah.
I feel like it is the tension that carries most of it in the beginning. So
Yeah.
until that is diffused, you're actually unsure about like what your
do you
feelings
really
are.
feel?
You're just like clouded and you're just like floaty and like
La la
yeah,
land.
Like maybe it could work, maybe I could do this.
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
your head is only somewhere else on some
And I
different
told
planet.
Vedika this recently that there is no greater curse on a woman than that of a lurking man. Because you go out on dates, you'll have this fun, and then when things again get a bit mild and boring, you'll again go to this
Yeah,
very
yeah.
much the lurking man who's just lurking around.
He's right there.
Like nothing's happening. Nothing. Maybe tension's also not there, and you're just like, yeah.
No,
so
but
it's
like
a
if
good
you
chit chat.
just know that there's a single boy who's hanging, who kind of shows you interest and like you're kind of into,
Interest, yeah.
that's it for you. Like,
That's it, you're
it's
doomed.
over. It's
So
just
next
over.
time, like,
Oh my
I
gosh.
hope she trips or something. Just
It's
say, I hope
horrible.
you're cursed with a lurking man.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't wish that on anyone. I wouldn't wish that on anyone.
It is truly, it's
Yeah.
like the worst. It's exhausting.
It's exhausting.
It's exhausting. Like to constantly think about someone all the time, like against your will.
Yeah.
No.
Oh my god, that is exactly it.
No way. I can't.
Like,
That's killed me. Yeah, against my will indeed.
yeah, you
Against
just woken up and you're like, again?
What am I? Yeah.
For sure. I agree.
But then I also see suffering as a form of like
Growth.
growth and evolution, but across the board. No, I'm saying this like I'd like to console myself saying that this is me paying for something. I
Is
must
this
have
time to
fucked around.
start a satsang?
And I'm just saying, I
No,
feel
but
like
I believe.
you know when you know in terms of like 55 people will come and tell you clean your room, and you'll be like shut up, and then one day you just wake up with disgust and you clean it, and that needs to happen for you to realize it.
Yeah.
And I feel like without that,
No,
you don't appreciate the good things. I say
100%. It's a journey because
you got to ride the wave.
we have to
Yeah.
ride the wave, which is why I think after I've been in that situation, I've like stopped being judgmental about other people riding the wave, which I was very much
Same.
before. And I used to be like, oh my god, that's so dumb. You can just like get over it, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's been so many months and you're still talking about the same person.
Right.
But then when I was in the situation and I was constantly like, like embarrassed to bring it up, but I'm like, I need you to talk about this to someone.
Yeah.
And then I've already told them like, this is it, like 500.
I remember that face.
Yeah, and I'm like, so yesterday Hey!
I'm like,
And I was just like
Okay.
so
yeah.
Vedhu is ridiculous actually because recently I told her something. Yeah, I thought this had ended like already 55 times, but yeah, sure, this time is it. I'm happy for you.
No, this time I was like, I'm just happy that I know that there's no chance now. Like it's actually over, so I'm feeling relieved. Is what I said.
But I
Yeah.
think that with friendships, it's important to have that space where you're able to
Yeah.
talk 55 times about that.
But I'm always like, even if you want to talk another 500 times, just call me because it's fine. Like now you
She a good
understand
one.
that you need to like finish. Like
Yeah.
it needs to get out of your system fully, and then you need to reach that point where you decide for yourself that like,
And
this boy is not getting another minute of my
that
time.
and that is the best way to do it
Yeah.
because I think you'll hear yourself the 500th time and you'll be like,
Yeah.
I've been yapping and yapping and yapping and I need
Gotta
to
move
stop.
on now.
Yeah.
High time.
Yeah.
It is truly the curse.
I feel like what's also going to happen if we manage to do a few more of these is discovering my adventures with meeting men because the trial and error phase is phenomenal. Let me tell you.
And
It
so
is-
entertaining.
I have sat at dinner with Kavya and taken her to the 3 dates I've gone to and she's like, no way. Are you kidding me?
It was such a fun dinner. I was so thoroughly entertained to it. Like,
I was like-
such a good dinner that was.
I love it. I love it when people
I
just
don't
have like
have-
hot tea to spill. It's like my favorite time.
It's not even hot at that point. It's just tea where you're like, if nothing else, go out and date for entertainment.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
absolutely
facts,
go out
facts.
and date for entertainment
plot.
because
Yeah,
the
for the
plot,
plot,
I'm
for
doing
the
it for
plot.
the plot, the drama, the
Yeah,
juice.
yeah,
That's what I'm here for.
yeah.
And then I'll ask them, and sometimes I just get, I don't know if unhinged is the right word, but just not have any, like if I know I'm not going to go on a second date, I just get ridiculous on the date. I'm just like, your personality is
cancelled you
seeming,
anyway.
yeah, I want to know how bad could this be. Because
Immediately.
I'm a pretty political person in general and I'm not saying I need you to be political, but you can't be. I'm actually
Unaware.
apolitical, so. Versus this one guy told me he thought it was a conspiracy.
What?
Yo.
Yeah.
Like
And
on
this
a
is-
date?
Yeah. On a date. Not on a date. We met at a party and then obviously it was like you've caught each other and you're like.
Oh. At a party or
Life is too
hectic
Bollywood, I
chat?
feel.
No, because I'll tell you how we reached there. Because we're at this party, we're enjoying, and then I think the heat waves were going on. And, no, not
That song! That song! Is it the song?
No, in London and US the heat wave was going on.
I was like, both of you are giving me.
That's what I'm saying. She's so dramatic.
No.
She's like full, like a
the heat
Bollywood
wave in the
setup.
country for climate is going on.
These guys,
Yeah, no. And then she's like, the song.
I thought she thought the energy. I thought the song. So I was like, oh, you're gonna get attracted right now.
No. The hero and we were in this balcony with the sea face and everything. And I was like, and it was supposed to be like peak. It was supposed to be raining. I remember this. And it wasn't. And I was just like, the monsoons are supposed to be like happening and this is not happening and the heat waves going on. Like, what the hell? We are doomed, the climate. And so he's like, you believe in climate change. And I was like,
Run, baby.
I was
Ride
like,
for your life.
this was my exact reaction. And he was like,
What?
yeah, like I said, you're one of those. He's like, oh, so I'm one of those. I said, what do you think is happening? He's like, the climate will change. The
And then
climate is constantly changing. I
but
said,
everything will change and then
Yeah.
it'll just be fine.
no, but I
Is
told
that
him,
what
I
he
said,
did?
I think what he's talking about is the weather.
He means
The weather will always change. The climate is not meant to change. And then he was like, and then that was obviously, like I was amused at this point. I was like, tell me more. Because I want to know.
Convert me.
And then he
Convert
said how he has like a fake vaccination certificate because the
Oh,
government
anti-vaxxer.
is
Yeah, I'm
full
act-
anti-vaxxer.
Are they okay? The
There are
anti-vaxxers?
There's so many
Are
people
they-
who I know who are like, they didn't get vaccinated because of
And
all
they're
of
fine?
this.
I
Yeah, they're
heard
fine.
some theory
What?
that all of the people, you know, the random people who've been getting heart attacks and dying
Yeah.
are all people who got vaccinated.
Vaccinated.
But
The anti-vaxxers are making this up.
Yeah, I feel like it's an anti-vaxxer rumor.
Conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Rumor that they're spreading to
And
like
somehow
stress
we are
us
living-
vaxxers out.
Yeah, and somehow we're living in a time where like misinformation is information.
That's very
It's the
true.
So-
worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Honestly,
people
it's the
really
worst.
make it seem like factual.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? it depends on what you end
But
up
everything
reading.
is factual, like,
if you research something, you have a point of view and you research it, you'll get enough evidence to like make you believe that.
100%.
But yeah, my point is you meet very different type of people and you're constantly amused. But then I think after a point you need a good date to happen. And
Right.
then I realize a good date does happen. But this is me probably just overthinking it. But when the good date does happen, I think the bar is like underground where the roots meet the core of the earth.
Yeah.
So you're just like, he was decent. He probably cracked a few jokes and I slept smiling the whole night. Like, I was like, and this happened to me recently. I was like, you're just like craving a decent date where you go out and you have like you meet the bare minimum and then you're just like,
Wow.
wow. But I guess that's the whole process. Like I said, I don't
I think for me, going on dates was like a channel to socialize. And I was like, if not my partner, maybe I'll meet their friends or like I'll meet someone through them and then I'll become friends, because I was so antisocial at one point.
Yeah.
And I just didn't have, like, I just woke up one day and I was like, I'm so bored. Like, what am I doing? I need to like text people. I need to find someone to like hang out with. And the only people I hung out with were these like 4-5 girls, right? And I did refuse to speak to anyone else. So then I'm like,
True.
out here one day trying to become friends with everyone, and I was like, this is one more channel for me. So like, worst case, this date doesn't go well, I'll just make them my time pass friend for some time. I'll meet some of their friends and maybe I'll like end
I
up
think
expanding my social circle.
that's a fair approach if you ask me.
Yeah,
I
so
feel
it's like if you find some motive, I feel like that entertains you in some
Yeah.
way, then it just makes it easier versus like going with an intention of like, I need to find the one.
oh, that is
Because
never
that's
going to happen
just
anyways.
exhausting.
Because I've realized you alter the definition of the one on the go
Yeah.
in general.
Yeah, for sure.
But also like the lens I go for entertainment. Because once I was at drinks very recently with my friends in Bombay and I was just bored. Dead sober, I would want to say. Or at least maybe I must have had like a beer. And I'm enjoying and I'm like, I'm getting so bored. And I have texted someone I used to hook up with 2 years ago.
Oh my goodness.
And we used to do this only, like basically 3 a.m., 2 a.m., midnight, these texts only. We've never spoken in broad daylight. That was the thing.
Like the drunken attraction type.
Yeah. And but this time I was sober, but I just wanted to figure out like spice up my evening, I guess. I didn't even know if it was going to lead to something.
You said no health reasons.
Yeah, it's for hygiene sometimes. I was like, at this point, if I don't get laid, I'll have to get laid for hygiene. Like, I mean, it's too much. We can't be wasting our youth like this. But yeah, I guess it was. I didn't even think that far. I was just like, I
What's
wonder
up?
if he's
Free?
sometimes thinking about me more than free.
Oh, I was like, is he available
Because
today?
I haven't spoken to this man in over a year, but how it also like weaned off is because I think he texted me a few times and I never responded to them. Either way, I texted him at like 2 a.m. or something saying, hello. And whatever.
Alive.
And then I was like, oh, what are the chances he'll reply? And then there's this other dude who's very like, I think his emotional intelligence is non-existent. But he's a very like smart, good, dependable guy and great in bed. So you're just like, maybe I can text him too. And he's a bit like,
On the spectrum.
no.
Not at all.
No, not on the spectrum. But he's a bit like, let's plan this. And I'm like, how do you plan this? And that's how it was in the beginning. And I was like, this is too much. And then I think I used it. I availed those services when I needed to. And then it was done. So I texted him as well. Being like, would there be a possibility for me to see you tonight? Again. And you see the difference of messages that my two different personalities have sent to these two different boys. Then obviously nothing's happened. I've come back again sober, only taken a shower, gone to sleep. I was like, boring night. Morning I've woken up where this... So like the guy who would show up if you ever needed him, was like, how about this afternoon? And I was like, actually no, the ship has sailed. I obviously didn't say that. I was like, oh, actually I'm kind of busy today, so not gonna happen.
Yeah.
How about tonight?
But I was busy, if I'm not wrong. I think I was 100% busy, but I was like, but the ship had sailed, right?
Yeah.
And then the other dude obviously hadn't responded because, like I said, we don't talk in broad daylight. But then day before or something, I got a 3 a.m. text saying hello. So the moral of the story is, I think, like, if you've met different people at different times of your life, I think they always want you still.
What?
I'm just saying, I've never.
You're truly in the Lulu land.
No, but I'm just saying that I'm not saying want you as in like they want to have kids with you and marry you and make your dreams come true. But I'm just saying that
they don't stop thinking about you ever. There's gonna be one night when they're having kids with when they're having dinner with their family on the table, and then they're like,
shit.
that boo.
yeah, I
That
think
was
that for sure. Like, it's like what Kavya just said a while back. That dinner was so entertaining. So I'm pretty sure they've had one dinner
Yeah.
where they were like,
That girl.
I had sex, but I also laughed. And how often does that happen?
happened.
So you're just like, oh, cool. I mean, I just wanted to put it out there, saying, if worst case scenario, you're able to go out there, have fun, and otherwise, the reason I'm single for this long is because I feel like outside of that, the requirement is too high. Like, for emotional availability.
There's no requirement that's too high.
Yeah, that's true. I guess.
That is
Yeah, I need voices like
Yeah.
this around me.
But at the same time, you should also remember not to try complicating things.
I love doing
Unnecessarily.
that.
Yeah.
Unnecessarily don't complicate
Yeah.
things.
But what does that even mean?
What do you mean by that?
Yeah.
Go for it.
I mean,
I'm like ready to go.
Yeah. I want to know how
like,
to
don't
not come.
overthink it. Like,
How do you do
not
that?
overthink, yeah?
sometimes, like, you just need somebody to tell you, like, you're really overthinking this situation.
I get
Agreed.
that from
Fair-
you all the time.
Yeah, like,
But
fair,
I
you
feel
can feel upset about something, but don't extrapolate it to be like as
No,
though
but
it's the end
that's
of the
No,
world.
I feel like as long as you know that you're not like self-sabotaging
Yeah.
or you're not
Exactly.
like creating problems that don't exist,
Yeah.
I think ask for everything that you need.
100%. Yeah.
Be as like aware and analytic of like the situation as you can, and like really like be judgmental. I feel like
And always-
judge it.
and
Nicely,
always
No, be
and, like,
selfish about the process in the beginning is
Yeah,
the
yeah.
idea.
Yeah.
But what I've realized is if you all are both on a similar journey,
Yeah.
emotionally and healing wise.
Yeah.
Because I've met people where I come with this, right? With this overthinking and complicatedness where they've regulated my nervous systems
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
sorts. Where they've actually been like, why are you arriving? Like, they'll actually be so chill about it. Being like,
Yeah.
oh, it's okay. And I was like, oh wow, we're going on a third date. And they'll be like, yeah, so like how does it matter? Like they'll just legit and you're like, oh, I like that because I'm not that calm about this.
Yeah.
And when that happens, I think that's good.
That's
Yeah.
got
That
to
is
be nice.
amazing.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like,
I'm
Yeah,
like,
that's
oh my
literally-
god, and then what's gonna happen? And then what are we gonna do? And 5 years later, what's gonna happen?
That's overcomplicated.
Yeah, and
There.
he's just like, we're gonna figure it out. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how do you know?
but you need someone
Yeah,
to say
but like,
that.
as-
Like
as soon
I
as you
can't
said
only
that-
be asking questions and answering them and
no,
being
no.
like,
I feel like someone who's like not thinking as much as you is great, because
Yeah.
then if your brain works a certain way and there's just like, it's fine, we'll figure it out, then you'll immediately be like, yeah, okay, I guess we'll figure it out. And
Yeah,
it happens immediately where you're
Yeah.
just, it just drops and you're not stressing about it
agreed.
anymore.
And I just feel like I anyways make decisions at all points. Like I'm just arriving with decisions. Like so obviously
yeah,
we're gonna do
this
this,
one
right?
does that.
We're obviously gonna do this, right? And then they'll be like, oh, we're going to do this. Okay, fine. Like so basically I make the decision for us that obviously it's not working out, so I guess we should call it.
No, so you know
No,
what
that's not a
Srinidhi does? She
conversation.
will like, so she'll think about it so much that she'll think about both perspectives, what everyone's thinking. She'll analyze the whole situation. She'll come to the conclusion of what they're thinking. She'll provide the solution also for it.
No.
And then she'll go and she'll offer them the solution.
And
But
here's
they wouldn't even be halfway to that wave. And they're like,
That
what?
is hella
Yeah, like-
complicated.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
why?
then
Don't do
the thing
that.
is, I built
That's
such
not
a
good.
strong case. I built such a strong case where
They
I was
also
like, am I
get
wrong?
convinced.
And then they're like, yeah, I guess that does make sense. So
What?
Yeah, she'll convince them that like, yeah, actually I thought about all of this and now it has to end, and they'll be like, yeah, okay, fine.
Yeah,
But it's the same as like you're thinking about cleaning your room, then your mom will come in and say clean your room, and then you're like, no, I don't want to.
No, but
clean
now
my
I've
room.
become aware of this.
Okay.
So I will
Yeah.
put out a disclaimer saying I'll tend to do that, and if you're not feeling that way, be stern about it. Put your foot down and
Yeah.
say that I don't feel that way. Don't
Fair.
let me arrive
Yeah.
and
I
tell
make
you.
all
yeah,
the
yeah.
decisions,
I mean,
fair.
it's not. I've not gotten the opportunity to do that a lot
Yeah.
at the moment, but I think I've sort of gotten there.
But for the first 3 months, I broke up with Gautam at least like 6 times every month. Like every other week, I'd be like, yeah, I don't think this is working out for me, and you seem really different, but it's okay. I've enjoyed it until now.
Oh my god. You know, from there, like when I was not in India, I was like, please have an open mind. Do not overthink this. Give him a chance. Like any like issues were like, I don't know
know.
if she's very new to a certain thing. She thinks about
Yeah,
it too
because
much.
I'm like, no,
I'm
no,
just
no,
like,
no, no, I
let
have
it
to
be,
end it, I
let
have to end it.
go.
Sounds like someone should be taking her own advice. By the
but
way,
we're better teachers than students
Yeah.
for sure.
I'm a great teacher.
Like, I can fully pick up on what you're doing when you're telling me some story, but I'll be doing the same
Same
thing,
thing, yeah.
and then I'll be like, yeah, it totally makes
And
sense.
same like the amount of times
Yeah.
I've lectured Vedhu being like,
Yeah.
I would not share a same planet with this person, let alone you dating this person. Like they should not belong. And then I will
Yeah.
cut to be next week hanging out with a very similar sitch and being like, who cares? We only got one life. YOLO. Like how does it really matter?
Yeah. Oh my god, those YOLO moments are really like.
No,
ruin
but
her
you know
life.
what? That's where support and where you're taking your advice from comes place. Like because I feel like I have friends who are very like, fuck it, how does it matter? Do it.
Yeah.
But I have friends like, are you mad?
Yeah.
What sort of drugs are you taking? Stop it. So like I think recently I had a very wild idea where I hadn't spoken to a person for months. But like whenever we've met in like similar like situations, we've always had like something going on. As in like we are fond of each other. But it had been months. So I was just like, how about I just arrive and invite this person to like spend a weekend with me, or maybe I'll go visit them in their house or something like that. And I that day had gone for a walk with my friend Simran, and Simran multiple times in the past has also been like, fuck it, do it, what's there? Also for context, Simran's like 26 or
Yeah,
25 or whatever, so she's telling her 29, yeah, okay, let's do it. Because that's what I was doing when I was 26 probably. But then I called my friend who's now married and has a child. So I was like, you know what? And I used to call her for advice all the time earlier in the day also. So I called her and I was like, so the thing is, and I've given her the full context of where I've met this guy. And I said, you know, I'd mentioned before when we hung out, right? And then she's like, yeah. And she's like, so I was thinking I'll just call like a long weekend's coming up. How about like I go visit him and stay with him and come back? She's like, what? Why would you do that? Are you weird? She's like, and since when did your self-respect be overtaken by whatever is going on right now?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
and then I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
she's right. You know, like
I feel like though that's so important though, because I feel like Sidhu and Simran are like those people for me, and if I ever think like I wouldn't want to tell them something that I'm doing, then I know I'm like doing something that I'm feeling like ashamed of,
Yeah.
and I'm just not feeling good about, because I'm like, they'll call me out, they don't have any like feelings about it, they're not going to try to be nice or be like, okay, I understand. They're straight up gonna be like, are you insane? Like, this is just really a really bad decision.
Yeah.
So then if you can't tell those people about something that you're planning to do, then you're somehow doing something that you're not feeling like right
yeah,
about.
fair. No, but like I said, sometimes you're so occupied by what's going on here in this moment that wherever that advice comes from, and as long as it's a friend, of course, that you trust, you're taking it.
Yeah.
And if that's bad advice, it's bad advice. It's great advice, it's great advice. But you've also like got to step back and be like,
What do I want?
what do I want? And it's impossible to answer that at most points.
because I'm saying like sometimes you know that you want to make this bad decision, right?
Yeah.
But you're also like kind of like really embarrassed about it, but you're like
Yeah.
I can
I
tell
get
some
no.
of my friends, which is like your friends who are like yes men, or the ones who are really like they don't care about their decisions so much. So they're gonna be like, yeah, one time you make a mistake, how does it matter? Or like the friends who'll be like, yeah, I'm sure you'll figure it out soon. Like those are just when you know you're going to those friends just because they'll make you feel better, but you're not going to your like strict
right.
friends because you're like even if you're making a decision that you don't feel sure about, but you can tell your like friends who call you out, then you're at least like, okay, I'm conscious
Yeah.
and like I've decided to do this and like explore it,
I
which is
think-
different from like in that moment I'm like I'm feeling it and I'm just gonna do
it?
it and
Yeah,
then like
yeah.
I'm like I don't want to tell anyone because I'm like embarrassed
That
to
is.
it.
No, but I think this goes back to my presenting a case bit where I will talk to my friends with the full data. So they will answer exactly the way I want them to answer, right? So I'll basically be like, so this is this and this is that. And if this
So
and that happens, so this is this and then plan B is this. So obviously I should do this. And
So you basically want them to
Yeah,
validate you.
yeah.
But then what happens is that validation is luckily like my friend Shruti who I called, she'll be like, brother man. That is not you're not right up there. Like you've got to like breathe a little. And what I'm usually trying to do is
Yeah.
flood you with information,
So
and then you're just like, yeah, I
Okay,
guess
okay,
do
yeah.
it, yeah. If you're so sure about it, who am I to tell you not to do it?
Yeah.
Luckily, there'll be some sensible people like this dumb hoe is out here again trying to do dumb things. So how about I tell her not to? So where
I
your
have my
advice
moods
comes
with
from?
like calling my friends out. Like sometimes I'm like I have no energy, yeah. Like you do. Like if
Bas.
you're so convinced you do. And then like sometimes I'm like really in the zone to like advice and I'm like listen to me. This is why this is not gonna work.
No, but I feel like at least mostly with the boys that I've even been on dates with, they're not thinking only, bro. They are like relaxed, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's
They're
like
really
a
just cruising
slow
through
elevator music going on in their mind, and they get to work, and then they're just living life, and here you are being like, but what if I want to adopt and he that one time said he didn't want to adopt? How will we function? And then you're just like, oh, okay. I'm just saying. that,
I know.
I want the elevator music in my head too.
Yeah, we all need it.
I know. That's what I keep asking for. I'm like, can I just stop my thoughts for like some time and just have like dumb boy head for like a day so I could relax?
But I think meditation has done that for me a lot, because like I think after Vipassana, when I got really consistent with meditation, like I think the most hectic things would happen where
Yeah.
somebody would say something, thing like make a plan, like flakiness also in the past would like really get me riled up, or like hangriness if I've not eaten or not eat.
Oh my
All
god,
these
that
things-
still gets to me, honestly.
Exactly, but all these things would happen and I'd just be like, what's that?
Yeah, you need something to center yourself.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think and that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
If you're managed, like, but also what do you do when people don't believe in, like when I told someone that I had done Vipassana on a date and they were like, why?
Oh, I got like, so when I went abroad, I was studying in a technical university, right? I always got hit with, why do you believe in God when you're studying in a technical university? And I just be like, excuse me? What? They're like, you can't believe in God. You can't believe in God. And I'll be like, okay.
But I
like,
do.
Coming
Yeah.
and attacking your
Belief system.
beliefs and just general, like what you do, your like entire setup is just like that's odd.
But it shouldn't phase you. It should be like, after
Yeah,
even
yeah,
if it's
Oh,
fine.
100.
Yeah,
It doesn't
for
phase
sure.
me, but I'm 100% checked out of that conversation.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, good luck to you, and
But
wishing
not,
you best for your endeavors.
Gautam asking me to do Vipassana when we like in the middle of a fight.
Oh, he asked you to do that?
to breathe?
I think you need to do
Like
Gogo Vipassana.
no, we were like I was like
Wait, yeah.
halfway through like a meltdown, being like, oh my god, I hate it, whatever, and then he's like, you know what I think would help if you did some Vipassana, and I was like, this is not the right moment to suggest this to me right now. Yeah.
It's so chill, bro.
It works for him, so that's why he was asking you to do
Yeah.
it.
No, but there's a right time and place.
Yeah,
guys,
when
that
someone
is
That
obvious.
will
Really
like calm you down and make you forget about the whole fight.
Yeah,
You
of
think
course,
about
but
it.
in the middle of an argument, you can't offer that as a
Maybe it
solution.
was just getting too much at that moment.
No.
Were you?
in the thick of it? you have to be like, okay, I'm listening to what you're saying, and you respond to what the person is saying. You don't suggest like random solutions like maybe you can go for Vipal. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, you say it later, like when we're all like calm and all.
But
like
look at the bright side. He knows better now.
Yeah. He has.
Because if it ever comes up with him, and like I think once when I was just before going to Vipassana, I had a conversation with him. He's like, yeah, I suggested it at the wrong time. It was just the wrong time. But I think if it was said in a different context,
so bad.
so it was like I just said it. Exactly how he speaks. But that's what I'm saying. Like in a different context, so he's got the drift.
No, I was gonna go anyway.
What?
Yeah, I've like
Since
signed up
when?
like 5 times and I've gotten the email also. I've just not followed through because I'm like, I don't know if this is the right time. But I know that I've wanted to go for a long time. But I'm like, don't suggest it to me when I'm like riled up.
Yeah, true. No,
Like,
that is
imagine
obviously
you're
not
really
right.
mad and like you're yelling at someone and then they're like, I think you should just meditate for a bit. You're gonna like lose it.
Yeah.
Sim, come on. I know you would definitely punch someone if they said that to you.
Yeah, luckily I'm not in a relationship.
We're back.
Yeah. So I think the idea is to just talk about where each one of us is at with like romantic relationships and romance in life in general. And what it means to you. Is it really like of the utmost importance?
And what do you
Want me to?
do? You want to be monogamous
Yeah, you know,
forever?
I mean, I think I'm pretty open to like versatility right now. But in life, I think it's just mentally less stressful to do
Yeah.
monogamy. At least for me, because I read this whole thing about what's new relationship energy.
Yeah, I want to know
Which
what
is
that?
basically, so when you're in a polyamorous setup, there's something that will happen that's like a new relationship energy. So your partner might see someone else,
Okay.
and there'll be a lot of this new relationship energy, which is basically like a honeymoon phase or limerence or exciting. Like basically,
Yeah.
what it's doing is serotonin is supposed to be like satisfaction, like, oh, that's enough of that and that feels good. And then dopamine is like, where's that? I want more of it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So what new relationship energy is basically is high dopamine, very little serotonin. So what's happening is that they are going through this amazing, so you're going to get very little time. So like if Vedika and I are partners and she's discovering this new relationship, she's going to go out and like, and apparently like if you're secure and like you've been through
How
this,
secure can you possibly
be? But that's us. I have met some really secure people and they're just like, I just have so much love to give, and I think
I just feel like they're lying. I don't know why. I just can't believe.
no, you know what? I have too much love to give.
They're like,
All the poly people coming for me.
No, I understand I don't understand that I have too much love to give, but I understand not all my needs are going to be met by one person. But that's why like friendships and professions, and there are other factors of your life. I don't know if another partner needs to be included in this. But in the spirit of like exploring and opening my options, I guess I like to say that I'm open to it.
I don't think so.
Yeah, but that's what this new relationship energy is, where apparently you need to know that they are going through something called a new
But
relationship
wait,
energy.
I was listening to that Red Table Talk, with like
Will
those
Smith's
Yeah.
and they were,
Jaded.
yeah.
No,
No,
that's the
that's
daughter.
the-
I don't know.
Jada.
Jada.
Yeah, and they were talking about all of this, like polyamorous relationships in general, because that girl is like poly, and obviously the grandma and the mom are like trying to understand like what's up, right? So then they get like this other couple also to come into the show and like talk about how their relationship works and all. And if I'm being honest, it sounded like a complete mess that they were trying to like convince everybody that was working.
Right.
And they had like this sort of like system that they had to have where they have synced calendars. So if I have a date for tomorrow, I need to like add it to the calendar so that you mentally are prepared, or you will find yourself a date, or you will like do something with your day and you know that like I'm not going to be around. I'm like, if I'm sitting and thinking of this the whole time. How am I going to
Not
get any
even
of the
that.
other shit
Or just
done
say
in
no,
my life?
busy.
No, but there's something called warm boundaries, which basically warm boundaries,
Okay.
which basically means that it could like float around where, hey, I'm having a very tough time right now. How about you wait until after the holidays to start seeing someone new? Or how about you at least go out on a few dates before getting sexual with them?
I understand
Or how do you
all of
get like
this
basically just like communication bit.
Right.
Uh,
With one person only to manage, it's really
Yeah,
hard.
that's
my
what I
point
was gonna
is,
say.
my point is,
Imagine-
as a third person, I've been on a date with somebody who told me that they were in an open relationship, and like to be very honest, the date was fun and all, but in the back of my head, I was like, there's
What
another
must
woman
she
in
be
his-
thinking?
Yeah, is she okay? Like, is she okay?
Is she on another date?
No,
Is she going to be concerned that this is so fun for us?
Yeah, so like, I mean, it didn't take over the date, but in my head, I was just like, I would hate it that he's going to go back and like, I'm assuming share a space with her.
Yeah, like cuddle
I'm
with
like,
her at
what
the
am
end
I
of my
supposed to-
date. That's
Yeah.
just weird.
Yeah, so I don't get the dynamics of it, but maybe it's I don't know. It's like
No, I honestly at one point in my life, because I was like, you know, you have all of these questions and you're thinking about monogamy and you're like, am I poly? Do I really want to be with one? Because also, honestly, committing to one person for the rest of your life is a bit much, right? Like, you're really like, we're going to be so many different people ourselves through our entire life. So, like, how do you really, like, say that, not, I swear to, like, live with you? That's a bit much. So, I was, like, overwhelmed by that idea. So, I'm like, okay, is, like, being with multiple people something that I'd be interested in? So, I watched a lot of stuff and spoke to a lot of people that had friends or like were exploring it and all of that, and I've come to the conclusion that like there's always someone in that poly dynamic who's just not enjoying it.
Yeah.
Like there's one person who's having a blast because they don't give a fuck.
I mean,
But there's like one person who's dying but just agreeing, and there's like it seems like someone's always losing in the dynamic.
that's what I think situationships are. Somebody definitely wants a relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But is settling for less and hoping you'll change your mind. But the news is they will not, and you will not be in a relationship. So I think that's what that is. But I honestly think you can't come to conclusions with these theoretically. Like, doesn't matter. It's like the same thing we discussed earlier, right? Like, we'll discuss, we'll talk to you till I have that experience. Because I've met a lot of people who are in polyamorous setups and they are very happy.
Maybe you met the happy one.
Yeah, exactly. No, but I've met their
Yeah, the
partners as
partners,
well.
so-
And it's because they've been together for centuries.
I know.
Is in our definition
Yeah, a long time.
a very long
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And polyamorous. for
And they've
like-
been happy for so long. That's what I meant.
yeah, and like they have kids, bro, for heaven's sake. Like, and
What?
That's
yeah.
Which I feel like, okay, situationally, 100% it works, because now you're already in the stage where like it's going to be problematic if you divorce and like get separated and whatever. So that I kind of understand.
No, but that's what when you said about monogamy as well. I feel like my first relationship, I don't think there was anything. I mean, it was not my first relationship, but like the last relationship that I was in that 5 years ago was perfectly normal. Nothing wrong with it. Two very happy people. We met each other's emotional needs very well. I think that's one of the reasons I'm probably still single, is because the standards for what I should feel like was so clear and it's so loud that that's what that felt like, and if anything is short of that, I don't want it.
Okay.
But the reason that ended was because I was like, you're telling me this is it? Like,
Yeah.
I will never see
Yeah.
someone else, and because obviously
Yeah,
that's the
you're
first person
young
I'd slept with.
also.
Yeah, like when we broke up at 24, I was like, I need to sleep with at least one more person, I would say. Like,
just like one more.
like I just need to know what's out there. And I also
Now
want
you
to add
know.
that there is
Now
not
you
much
know.
out there. I just want to say
She's out there and it's all explored.
Yeah, I'm explored. I'm Dora. I have news for you. This ain't good. You find it, you lock it, and
Leave
but
it.
like obviously like that's just lingo. Obviously, don't lock it. I think the more detachment you can function with it, the
No,
better
if you're
it is.
having those kind of thoughts where you're like, oh, what else is out there?
Yeah, you
should
have
get
to.
it out of
Yeah,
your system.
exactly,
for
exactly.
sure.
So I feel like there was no two ways about it that I'd have to do what we did. But there was also no way that we would have continued to be, and there was no resentment. It's impossible, because I think me being me, I would have been like, you don't know the kind of thoughts I've had to battle in my 20s.
Also, just like sitting and thinking every time you're having a bad day, like, I could have possibly been with the man of my dreams now. And who knows if this is it.
And it's good to know that those dreams are
nightmares.
in reality. But no, there are some good ones. There are some really good ones. Like, I feel like that one mid situationship I had, there was so much love there. I was like, oh my god, like, I barely know this man, and he would so openly say, like, I feel so comfortable around you, and like he's happy to tell me anything, just be in my presence. And even like when we discussed that, oh, obviously it's not going to work out because we were in two different cities, we had that discussion. I remember we were both really upset. And he just said, oh my god, can I please hold you for a bit? And I said, yeah, for sure. And I think when I was like, we were talking, I was like, yeah, it's okay, it's ended. But I think until he didn't hold me, I was just like, oh shit, this is sad. Like, and I feel like that whole cycle is important, where you like put out and you learn something, you take, and then there is grief. You need to realize that it'll come and go. And sometimes things will stay, and maybe you can't decide. That's what I realized. You just can't decide.
You have to just explore.
Yeah, and the best you can do is be open to the idea and be honest about it. So like even this date that I'd gone, and this person who was in a open relationship, apparently it was on the profile. On the dating profile, I did not see it. So when I got there, he mentioned it, and he only said, I was like, okay. And then I was not like shut off, like, oh no, I need to pack my bags and leave. I'm like, okay, fine. I'll sit through this and I'll enjoy. And while you're having those experiences, you're learning, you're evolving. And I feel like that's important. I've realized in my friend circle especially, we've defined ourselves. Saying, this is who I am, and this is what I like, and this is what this should be. And that's just not going to work out. You have to go out there and like mold a little bit, change a little bit, and be like, this is not something I've thought about before, but like I could possibly try. And
you have to explore and come to your own conclusions.
And now I'm starting, and also I have like great examples of women in their 30s who are not in like conventional relationships and marriages, which is I think important. Because like if you don't have older friends that are not single and like doing whatever, like at least the women I'm surrounded by who are in their 30s are like extremely ambitious and have had lovers.
That's true. Honestly, all of my poly opinions were purely just for me and not for the other people. Like, I'm pretty sure it works out sometimes.
Yeah, and I mean, it's like those, you know the people doing yoga in Bali, like they're on a different trip, like let's be honest. Like I was doing that for a month and I was like, I get the drift, guys. Because that's all you're thinking about is like finding your center and being true to your consciousness and like constantly being as conscious as you possibly can. And that's a good life. And if you quit everything else around to do that because that's what is truly like attracting you, then go ahead, do it. So I'm pretty sure we are enough people on the planet to find like-minded people, but yet here I am 5 years and single on a side note. But yeah, like I think I now have started to become okay with the idea that if I'm older, I have like a phenomenal career and lovers like in different places. And I meet them when I travel.
For sure.
Hi boo, how you been? Yeah, so I also like the idea of that maybe I put myself out there and somebody comes and regulates my nervous system, being like, chill out, chill the fuck out, and you're like, that's nice, that's sweet too, and then boom, you're in another 7-year relationship. So anything could happen.
Yes,
anything could happen.
True.
That's true.
100%.
I think that's how I feel also.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Likewise, like I'm excited to turn 30. I'm not even scared. I'm just like,
I love that.
Because everyone, whoever, like whenever we talk about the number 30, they're like, that's it, your life is done. And I'm like, are you serious? I feel like I'm finally content. I'm excited for my future. Let's go. The 30s I think is gonna be the best, I think.
That's
It's also just good to be sure of who you are. Like as teenagers, we didn't fucking know.
I feel like the 20s was like a headless,
100%.
you're like a headless chicken.
Yeah, fully.
It's fun. I'm not saying no, but I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, bus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's meant to be where it was.
Yeah.
Agreed,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. I feel like even while being in a relationship that's secure and like stable, there's always a thought that like it can possibly not be forever. Right. So eventually I think everyone needs to make peace with the fact that like
Yeah.
you need to have your own life and like your own plans and be sure that like I'm gonna be fine regardless of where this goes. So I think that
Absolutely.
uncertainty, like as much as you think it just goes away, it doesn't really.
It never
like,
does.
You will always have to make peace with the fact that like nothing is permanent and I have to be like equipped to deal with whatever
For
twists and
sure.
turns life takes. But having said that, I'm enjoying. I feel like I'm like finally in like a space that I've wanted to be for a really long time, and like
So cute.
all of
Love
like
it.
the love that I dreamed of when I was like a little girl.
I remember this. We used to have conversations.
Yeah, and I'm like I want this and I want that and I want this, and like I feel like I'm enjoying all of it, so it's fun.
That's you. That makes me
Yeah.
happy. That makes me happy.
Oh, love it, love it, love it.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Over to you, Kavya.
I don't know. I think at this point, I finally realized that when how do I say, when I start dating or like go on a date or something, to be a little more intentional about it. So I feel in my past relationships, I've just entered them thinking like, yeah, it's going to end anyways. So don't give
yeah.
it too much
Oh,
of
absolutely.
thought,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
whatever. But now it's like, it's hit me where I need to be really intentional about it. Do not take it too seriously if you don't want to, but be intentional about
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
What it
Makes
is.
sense.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Also, Kavya and I had a good chat that day.
Really?
In Monkey Bar, where I
Yeah.
was like,
I told you, right? I don't want to
Yeah.
I want to get a job first before I start dating.
And I was like, people always put these conditions on themselves,
Yeah.
and they're like, I need to like do this first, and I need to reach this point first. And I'm like, how do you even know?
Yeah.
Like, so after you're married, then if you have a goal to achieve, you're going to separate. I have a goal to achieve.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to need space, and you're going to need time, and you're going to need like all kinds of things, but like it shouldn't stop you from finding your person.
Absolutely.
And also, like, my recent discovery is that there are parts of myself that come up when I'm in a romantic dynamic, which are otherwise not really available and out there. And if I don't work on them, and when I say work on them is go out on dates and meet people and actually like indulge in this emotional roller coaster or just a ride, what's going to happen is that if something does come along, I'm just going to like burst open like one of those
Confetti.
confetti boxes.
Confetti.
And then they're going to be like, okay. Yeah, she has it all planned out. And then, so I think it's very important to like just do it,
Yeah.
whatever it may be.
Yeah.
We're too strict with ourselves. And that just needs to
We just
stop.
gotta chill.
We just gotta
gotta
chill. Yeah. Okay, guys, this has been a really good one. I've enjoyed this thoroughly.
Yeah, me too.
Likewise. It was fun.
Yeah.
And cozy.
I liked it.
Chit-chatting.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
been sweet, it's been cozy.
Felt like
and,
another day.
This is Srinidhi. Thank you, guys.
This is Vedhu.
Bye, guys.
Bye. See ya.